accelerated. So I think in general, we can say, as we thought, that there would be antibody tests available when we needed them, and they will support also our contact tracing programme and strategy later on.
Fantastic. A follow-up.
If I may, Secretary of State, and thank you all three for very informative answers there. Secretary of State, life's full of risks, and this is all about balance of risks. You're somebody who's probably got antibodies. Would you feel happy going into a crowded room?
Not yet. Not yet. I very much hope that the science shows that the people with antibodies who tested positive for having antibodies have a low risk of transmitting the disease and a low risk of catching it. Both are important because low risk of catching it to protect me, low risk of transmitting it to protect others. I very much hope that that's where the science comes out. That is true of most coronaviruses. But we've got to make sure that we've got the science, because until we know that's the case, we can't be sure of it. We can't base a policy decision on it, and I can't be comfortable doing what you mentioned in the question because that might simply trigger a rise in the number of infections if the science turns out to be wrong. And there are so many novel things about this coronavirus. There are so many things that are different to the 6 existing coronaviruses that we do have to test this and not base our assumptions on how other coronaviruses behave. Because we don't want to take the risk of assuming this coronavirus behaves like other coronaviruses before saying and taking a policy decision that people with antibodies are lower risk. But if the science concludes that they are, then we'll take decisions on that basis. I would say this point of John's, that there's been big advances in antibody testing, especially the lab-based antibody testing, is very important. Today, Roche, the Swiss global diagnostics company, made a very positive announcement about progress with their antibody test, and we're in discussions with them about a very large-scale rollout of antibody testing, as well as with some others who may be able to bring this forward. But there's been false hope before in antibody testing, and so we'll make announcements when we're absolutely ready. Thanks very much, Joe.